Any challenges that we have in our life in terms of anxiety, fear, duality, conflict, confusion, we should label it as the impurity of the mind. And once you label it, first you label any issue, because any issue, what happens, is experienced by the mind. Knowledge of the stress, suffering, anxiety, fear, they takes place in the mind. Are you understanding?
Yes.
So it is the mind that experiences it. So first we label it as the impurity of the mind, nothing more than that. And then work on the purity of the mind. Purity of the mind. No, you did you have a question? Make me understand it clearly.
Oh, no, I didn't have a question.
You didn't have a question, but I raised the question and I will help you answer that. Make me understand it clearly.
Okay.
So we have highway. You see that we have highways?
Yeah.
Highways with the lanes. Lanes. Why we have lanes?
To
Yes.
help. One, two.
3 lanes,
So-
sometimes 4 lanes. Why we have lanes?
One reason is so more people can be on the highway.
That good. And
For safety reasons.
yes, safety reason. What else? If lane 1 is busy, I can switch on to the lane 2.
Yeah.
If the lane 1 there is an accident, I can switch on to the lane 2.
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
I'm using a metaphor first so I make you understand so that you become perfect in this journey. So now we will talk about the mental highways.
Okay.
Okay, so lane number one of the mind invites unwelcome, uninvited thoughts. You are sitting just casually and some thought comes to you and you become sad. Your mind recalls and remember, lane number 1, your mind recalls something happened. Something happened when? Something happened last week and the mind goes into anxiety. Maybe into anxiety or fear, or you have a frustration. Clear? Did I ask you the question last time? Does anyone say you or send an SMS to be upset over me when they come in contact with you?
No.
Did you understand the question?
I think so.
Say did your sibling send you the message that when I come in front of you, then you should be upset over me?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you mean, but I've never gotten a text like that.
You never. And still we get upset?
Yeah.
Still we get upset. They don't send, and still we get upset. Why? Now answer this question.
The mind.
Mind, yes, mind. The mind is okay, but why mind? When nobody send me SMS, email, text and tell me that please, Sienna, you be upset over me. No one says, and still I get upset.
Mhm.
And then if still I get upset, okay. So the first answer, why? So we said mind. But why mind behaves like this? Why mind behaves like this? Does your mind not need peace, calmness, and happiness? Yes, yes, we need it.
Yeah.
So then why we get upset? I will make you super intelligent girl. Why we get upset? This is known as because our many answers, because mind is impure. So the impure mind invites these crazy stuff, these crazy thoughts, and we get upset. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now you have to tell me what it means by impure mind. We have a verse in the mantra. Do you remember? You
In the
have,
mantra.
yes, you have left reciting the mantra. Can I say the first line? Mano hi dividham.
Proktam.
Yes, what is that mantra? Where it is? You have left in your purse?
No.
Where it is then?
In my mind.
Where? Say me, tell me, what is that mantra?
Shraddham cha shraddhameva cha.
Yeah. Mano hi dividham proktam shuddham cha shuddhameva cha. And the second line of the verse tells you why it is impure.
Impure mind is caused by desire and projection.
Yes. Yes, you rightly said impure mind. Ashuddham kama sankalpam. Shuddham kama vivarjitam. I am 64-year-old. You may be, you are less than 20 years and still you don't remember. You have to remember. Normally say as the aging process goes away, your memory power fades away. Ashuddham kama sankalpam. Desire and projection. Caused by the desire and projection. So we want to find the answer. We want to know the answer of what? Why my mind become upset even if no one tells me. It is because of desire and projection. That is why we get upset. Our mind desires and projects. No, tell me, I never project. My mind may say that, I don't project. Why my mind projects? So what happened? Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
I was just gonna take a guess, but
Okay.
mind where I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, think of it. Let me give you some inputs. Projection means I start thinking why this guy is not agreeing with me. Because I like that, for example, I come to you and start talking to you, and Sienna wants me to say those things which she likes. But I don't say it. So when I don't say it, then you get upset. Why you get upset? Because your mind is expecting to agree with you, like your sibling. So your mind expects that sibling should listen, agree with you, and move with your thinking. So when that does not happen, the projection gets a shock, and that shock creates upset feeling in me. It means what? Impure mind says agree or I get upset. So what it means? I am responsible for my stress and suffering, for my fear, and also for my peace and happiness. Did you forget about lane 1, 2, and 3 on the highway?
No.
No. Okay. So what happens on the mental highway? Understand it clearly. This is I taught this last week to a corporate executive. So first thing what I said, lane 1, unwelcome, uninvited thoughts move there. Right? Lane number 2, the knowledge is there. Knowledge is there. Did you understand? And lane number 3, the realization of the knowledge means peace and happiness is there. Mental highway is one. You have different lanes. Mind is one. You have different lanes. Did you understand?
Yeah.
So lane number 1, unwanted, uninvited thoughts move there. Projected thoughts there. Desire is there. Impure mind. Can our mind become 100% pure?
Yes.
Yes, it becomes once we awaken to when we awaken to the real self. But until it is awakened, what should we do? What should we do? I have given a hint. and try to answer. I told you the lane number 1, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts. Lane number 2, knowledge. I can put the knowledge there. And lane number 3 is the realization of the knowledge means peace and happiness. So I asked you a question, what should we do until we realize real self? I have to place knowledge in lane number 2. I do not need to fight with lane number 1. So, what do you mean by not to fight, not to push your mind to the lane number 1 again and again? So, you push your mind to lane number 1 means what? That you are anxious, fear is there, blame, complaint is there, fear, frustration, blame, complaint is there. That is what the result of. That is what is the result of impure mind. Means desire and projection. Did you understand it?
Yes.
Someone asked me how long it will take me to change the mind. I said million times. You have to repeat it millions of times. Then I told him that why you are asking this question, are you not ready to change? Don't you want peace and happiness in your life? Yes, I want peace and happiness in your life. Then why you are asking this question? From where it has come? It has come from the mind. Why the mind is asking this question, that how long it takes? Let me it take for millions of years. I will continue the journey because I want to live in peace and happiness. He said, okay, now I have understood. So he rightly said, he said, it means my mind has a doubt about this principle. I said, yes, that is why you have asked this question. Why the mind has a doubt? Because it is impure mind. Impure mind always full of doubt.
Yeah.
You need not to believe me, you need to believe the knowledge. Leave this crazy guy, beard guy. You have to believe in knowledge. So what I said, then we will go to the next step to understand it clearly, little more deeper. So I said, mind is like a highway which has different lanes, 3 lanes. Lane number 1, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts. That means anxious, fear, frustration, blame, complaint, projection, desire is already present there. Lane number 2, I have to put the knowledge there. So if I don't put the knowledge, forget about lane number 1. You are anxious. Let me think about relaxation. Let me think, just remember, and in your mind you think peace is my essential nature, fear has no place. So you are putting a knowledge in the lane number 2. Are you getting?
Yes.
You have extreme pain, your fear and frustration and negative emotions, etc. First thing to move to the lane number 2. How you move to the lane number 2? By thinking principles. So knowledge in lane number 2, but you are not fighting with lane number 1. Clear?
Yes.
So now question, how? How to put the knowledge in lane number 2 when we are suffering or we have some fear, or tell me. I've already given an answer many a times in a different way, but think of it. Why are you testing me? Do you have that thought? No, I'm not testing you. No, we are just talking. How to put the knowledge in lane number 2 whenever we have stress, fear, duality, conflict.
You.
What you do when the lane number 1 is totally packed, you don't want to go there. What you do?
You move to a different lane.
Yes, you move to, that is the first thing. That now you have moved to the lane number 2 and you keep on driving on lane number 2. What it means here, keep on driving in lane number 2 by thinking of the principles. No, but how? You start repeating any mantra. That is why repeat any mantra. Repeat any mantra. Do practice. Do practice. Or start thinking of any principle. The moment you start thinking of any principle, you continue to move into the lane number 2, and that helps you not to participate in the lane number 1, not to participate in fear, not to participate in fear, in blame, in complaint. That is working in lane number 1. Did you understand?
Yes.
Yes, my friend, you have to listen to it again and again so that you are very clear. Picturize in your mind that here is a lane number 1. I have uninvited, unwelcome thoughts, feeling, pain, suffering, any situation, any event in your life. The moment they come, you switch on to the lane number 2 and your mind, mental lane number 2, and the mind is thinking, Eastern wisdom, my master says that peace is my essential nature, happiness is my essential nature. So again, from the lane number 1, some fear comes and you repeat it again in your mind. Then okay, then let me continue to move in the lane number 2 and do the 4-step relaxation practice that I have given you. You are aware of it. So the moment you start doing it, you do not participate in lane number 1. So what happens? You weaken the effect of lane number 1 and you go into peace. You're feeling sleepy?
No.
No. So just see that, close your eyes. What we do, just close your eyes and see what happens. Yeah, let us do the practice.
Okay.
There are many ways to follow the practice. So what your eyes are closed and your eyes are closed and so first thing that we say, being comfortable. So eyes being comfortable. Being comfortable is moving to lane number 2 instantly. We don't spend the time and we say, okay, move the mind on the neck joint. Understand, my young friend, clearly that when I say move the mind on the neck joint, your mind, which was, for example, in the lane number 1, and you're asking the mind to move the mind on the neck joint, you're moving into the lane number 2 with the knowledge, and you stay there. You feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So move the mind on the shoulder joints, be there. Body seems to be steady, but when you look mentally, the shoulder joint. You are not participating in the lane number 1. So what we have to recognize inside while doing the practice is that you don't fight, you don't participate, they are there. They may be unwelcome, uninvited thoughts may be there, but you are not participating. Where you are participating in the lane number 2. Shoulder joints, be there, sensation, comfort and steadiness. The entire body, you're looking at the entire body, the mind says no. Example, mind pushes you to the lane number 1, you bring it back, you see the body again. Mind number 1, lane number 1, maybe have the fear, anxiety, duality, desire, projection, blame, complaint, and you bring the mind back. Let me look at the entire body again. Sometime in times of the stress and anxiety, it will happen to and from movements. So you consciously bring. Say, for example, the mind is blaming someone near you, and you leave that thought as it is, that feeling as it is, and you start feeling the body, entire body. And that makes you comfortable, and you should move to an experience of sensation, comfort, and stillness. So that is what it is. It is lane number 3. How simple. But if we follow the practice for a couple of times with understanding the principles, the life is going to be totally different. Now be carefree. So in what we say in being carefree, we say that thoughts are coming and going. Let them come, let them go. Let them come and let them go. So this is what we have been doing. But now we recognize lane number 1, where thoughts are coming and going. We are not doing anything. We are not participating there. So how not to participate? How not to participate? By knowing, by feeling that I am in lane number 2. Why? Because if I do not participate, then what happens? It is the knowledge, and the knowledge will bring my mind to a state of carefree. No one can claim that lane number 1 is not active in a waking state. Lane number 1 is not active. Even if there is no fearful thoughts, unwanted thought enters. Unwanted thoughts enter the mind. You are listening to me and still you hear some noise, and then your mind starts thinking of the noise. So that lane number 1 is always active. We need not to fight. We need not to fight with it. We need to understand it. We do not need to fight. We need to understand. When we understand it, moves the mind to lane number 2. And then we find we are carefree. We are carefree. And then we can use any mantra, to continue to lane number 3, to lane number 2. How we do it? How we do it? We can do it by mantra. So lane number 1 has unwanted thoughts and feeling, complaint. For example, so you say asato ma satugamaya. So you are aware, you hear in your mind the thoughts coming from the lane number 1, but you are not paying attention there. You feel they are there. The moment they are there, and you say Asatu Ma Satu Gamaya. Asatu Ma Satu. Again the thought comes from the lane number 1, and you say Asatu Ma Satu Gamaya. Asatu Ma Satu Gamaya. So when you see, when you feel there, the impact of the influx of the thoughts from the lane number 1 has weakened, then you start thinking about the meaning. What is the meaning? Let me move from the false to the truth. What is false and what is the truth? What is the truth? The truth is the truth is simple. What is false? The lane number 1 is false. Why it is false? Because my nature is in peace and happiness. So when my nature is in peace and happiness, so I will continue to moving on to the lane number 2. I will not get carried away by the lane number 1, which invites the uninvited, unwelcome thoughts on the mental height. That is why we recite the mantra. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. What is that meaning? Simple meaning. Moving from the ignorance to wisdom. Ignorance makes the mind impure. So do you recognize that when the mind becomes impure, it is ignorance? When the mind becomes impure, whenever we have any kind of a stress, duality, conflict, blame, complaint, frustration, fear, anything, that pushes the mind to craziness, laziness, obsession, etc. Oh, that is the reason. So what should I do? You are already moving into the lane number 2. How? By chanting the mantra Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. My friend, understand it clearly. The lane number 1, you don't go there. So how do you know that you don't go there? Thoughts are there, you are feeling it. But still, you have another feeling in the lane number 2. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Moving from the ignorance to wisdom. Moving from ignorance to wisdom means what? I have not to switch my lane to lane number 1. I am not participating there. I am moving to the lane number 2. Then the third line of the mantra, Shanti mantra, you already know. Mrityoramamritangamaya. Mrityorama amritangamaya. So what it means? Moving from the mortality to immortality. So here we can start thinking. What we should start thinking with the third line? Lead us from mortality to immortality. What it means? That what is changing is not me. What is changing? Lane number 1. Keep changing with unwanted thoughts and the feelings, with maybe of anxiety, duality, stress, blame, complaint, etc., etc. So we do not participate. Why we do not participate? Because they are changing, they are uninvited. We always feel discomfort. When anyone is uninvited, so we do not pay attention there, we keep attention on the mantra. That is one aspect of it. But we will go little deeper. Om Shanti. Play and fun to remove any form of suffering, fear. How we do it? Just keep on moving on lane number 2. How? By reciting Om Shanti with a meaning. What is the meaning? The Om is the real self, deeper inside, in the heart, and Shanti means, you already know, Shanti means peace. So with that knowledge, keep that knowledge and keep moving on the lane number 2. No, but what should I do? When those thoughts are coming, what should I do? When thoughts are coming from lane number 1. So simple. The moment any thought comes, superimpose Om Shanti. Fear thought, and you recognize it, and then you shift to lane number 2. How? By simply saying Om Shanti. How simple it is. How simple it is. So superimpose simply means, so what do you mean by superimpose? It simply means you put a bed sheet over the bed. Okay, so you are putting Om Shanti the moment your mind goes to lane number 1. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. But you are doing it with calmness. You are doing it softly. The best way to do it, say that any thought comes from lane number 1, you recognize, then you drop Om Shanti. After that, there is a space or silence for a while. Do nothing, just keep watching that space. Keep watching the space and wait for any thought comes. Again Om Shanti. That way you make the mind empty. You move to the lane number 3. And mind drops its impurity and you are in peace. That is the way we should do it. That is the way we should follow this practice. What is going to happen? You become wise, relaxed, calm, aware to deal with any situation, event, relations, and problems. We will continue our journey next week in a different way. But in the meantime, please listen to it again and again. Do the practice. Recognize all the 3 lanes. Even when you recognize the 3 lanes, you find you are progressing, you are moving ahead, you are moving into the peace, happiness, love, and wisdom.